Hello, this is Susan Elliott, the news editor of Musical America. And today's one-to-one interview is with Stefan Forsberg. He's the executive and artistic director of the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic Orchestra and the Stockholm Konserthuset. Sweden's experience of the pandemic has been quite different in that the government has left it up to individuals, businesses, and organizations as to whether to stay open or close or shelter in place or whatever. So Stefan and the orchestra made the decision to keep performing, albeit with a smaller orchestra and no audience, and to live stream the performances. So we wanted to find out how he did that. You have been having concerts take place in the concert hall from the very beginning, is that right?
Yes, we have actually. We had as many concert halls in the world. We had a big Beethoven anniversary, of course, celebrating it, and with both chamber music and orchestras. We were just about to start our symphony festival when we actually got one case of corona into the institution. So I needed to close for 3 weeks. But since then, since March, mid-March, we've been up and running every week with three or four concerts for the orchestra.
Per week?
Per week, yes. Orchestra and chamber music, I should say.
And with how many musicians on stage?
Well, we started, of course, discreetly, because I wanted to be sure that there was no one else that had felt anything and so what about the disease and so we started with around 40 and been doing 40 to 50 most of the time, but now the last month or so I've been going up to 60, 65.
And are they separated?
Yes, we have a special corona seating, which we started from the very beginning. Very unusual for the musicians and all the artists at the beginning. But now they are completely used to it. So it has been great. We sit, as the recommendations are in the world, 1.5 to 2 meters between every musician. And it works. It took maybe the first 40-45 minutes for the musicians to adjust. Everybody has their own stands. There are separate regulations for the wind players, a little bit how they do with the condense that's coming out of the instruments and things like that. But everybody's been very secure. The hall has been, we own the hall, so therefore I can use 20,000 square meters for 40 to 50 to 60 musicians, so they have plenty of spaces.
They're on stage, right? They're not in the auditorium, or?
Yes, they're on stage, and it works perfectly on stage. The critical moment, I would say, is always not the stage, but the stage is secured with a restricted area, and since there's no audience, you can enter from every angle of the concert hall, also the audience way onto the stage, and you can disappear out into the building, as I said, 20,000 square meters, so they don't have to be too close during coffee or lunch. That has been the hard thing, actually, to get them to really keep that distance. So I tell you have all these square meters, so keep separated also during the breaks.
They don't really need to use the backstage area. They can use the whole.
Not at all. They have all the restaurant areas and public foyers and all the seatings that they're super comfortable for them, and all the foyers, and they can go and play and warm up and do anything they want. I mean, we have 3 halls in the concert hall, so they have told me it's a luxury. It should always be like this, that the hall is ours completely. I'm sorry about that, but
right.
It works.
So normally, how many concerts does the orchestra perform a season?
Yeah, a season is normally around 120, 130. Concert with the orchestra. The institution presents 1,100 public events per season, but that's of course everything from seminars, open discussions, to chamber music and things like that. But it's a very busy hall.
Is the orchestra primarily government supported?
Yes. We are, and it's been a blessing for us in this situation. We are maybe the special one, the odd bird, in so to speak, because we are independent. We are a foundation, so to speak, running the hall and running the orchestra within ourselves. But we have the public support from the capital, from the region of Stockholm, and they're fantastic to us. During this pandemic, they have said, if you continue to play, we will continue to support you. We are 105 musicians. I divided them into like 2 or 3 chamber orchestras so that they could prepare and have time to rehearse in between. And then we've been up and running, and it's been a huge success.
Do you generally stream your concerts even when there is an audience?
Yes, we do. We started a digital concert hall like 6 years ago. It has been run completely different.
When the virus was first rearing its ugly head, what was behind your decision to keep going rather than shut down?
Well, at first there in like January, February, when it came very rapidly, no one really knew about it. And I have always been an attack person. I solve problems by attacking. So I told my institutions immediately, we will not close. We will just shift in strategy. We will go from live to digital. And until someone tells me to not play, then we will continue. And I will make sure that you have a safe surrounding around you, environment around you. And the orchestra trusted me. I have paid for, they can all go by car. I paid for the garage in the concert hall so they can go separately by car. They can enter, as I told you about, into these 20,000 square meters. They are safe. And those who don't want to play, who are anxious, you can stay at home with full pay. I will not force you.
What are other performing arts groups doing? Are they doing the same?
When it comes to music, some of the, as I said, 5, 6, 7 of the symphony orchestras and concerts has been up and playing. Right. Opera, Royal Opera has done a few things. Otherwise, opera and dramatic theater has more or less been closed down. They are now opening, doing smaller things, but and I have to say, they are the one being most affected by the pandemic financially also. So they have really been struggling.
As the venues around Europe, I guess especially in Germany and Austria, begin to sort of crawl back to performance, have they been in touch with you to ask about advice on how to sort of start things up again?
Well, of course, we have a very close network. The Stockholm Concert Hall is a member of a very prestigious group called the ECHO, the European Concert Hall Organization. Playing with an orchestra, bringing an orchestra in, is not the tricky part. The tricky part is the audience, to make it safe, to make sure that there is not crowded in the intermissions. The restrooms is maybe the most problematic area of all. You know, those things that you don't think about at all normally. In these times now, how can we make sure that the breaks are long enough and things like that? So this is crucial, and we spent a lot of time now for us because we are up for full sale now, and audience are buying. So we are now. I'm opening now in 3 weeks for audience again. We will do 5 concerts per day with young summer musicians, and there are exhibitions in the hall, everything with free entrances. So now we will try the system. If we have solved it, we can only take in 50 at a time, but the house will be full with people for the first time for a couple of months now.
What is your ticket price range?
Oh, it's low. And that's also due to the public funding. And that is also what the politicians said. We will support you strongly, but you have to make the hall and the symphony orchestra, the Stockholm Philharmonic, accessible, make them accessible. So the ticket prices are from You can buy from, actually, if you're below 18, you can buy from €5 for a sit on the chorus balcony. But normal price, I would say, is from €20 to 45 or 50.
One of the things that we talk about in these interviews sometimes is what to tell your colleagues in terms of advice in a time of extreme sadness and pressure and so forth. So I hear from you that you all have sort of continued, you never really stopped, you just kept on keeping on, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. And what I though have been talking a lot about to my colleagues and to others is about values, which I think is the one of the major changes I hope will be for the world, actually, because I have been one of those, as I said, we belong to the 20 leading concert halls in Europe. You all want fame and glory. You run for fame and glory. But this pandemic has showed us all that other values are there. If you can't be with the one you love, if you can't move freely, if you can't hug your children or grandchildren or visit your grandmother and things like that, those things are important. The inner values of people. And I have always said that the Stockholm Concert Hall is the fitness center for our hearts. That's what we do. We take care of the inner person, the most important things. But these things are so easily forgotten. But I think now we have a momentum now that the entire world has realized what's really important in life. And I hope that that will strengthen the art sector. And I think that the art sector can take many steps forward saying, we are very important.